This video is sponsored by Genially. This choice board is perfect if you have a topic or a concept that you want your students to show what they know, show what they have learned about that topic. Giving your students choice in how they show what they know is going to result in a lot more student buy-in, which leads to better work. So today I'm going to show you exactly how I built this choice board using Genially. And if you are a Google Classroom teacher, stick around because there is a really great add-on feature that Genially just introduced. So before you actually start building anything in Genially, you want to come up with a plan with what your choice board is actually going to have. I put my plan in a really basic Google Doc right here. And for my example, I want students to show what they know when it comes to area versus volume. I want them to share how they're different, how they're similar, and examples that demonstrate their understanding. And so this isn't meant to be this huge, big project, just an opportunity for the students to be able to communicate what they have learned and what they know about this topic of area versus volume that we've been learning in class. So you can see I have my choices right here. I've got video, I've got sketchnote, and I've got graphic. And each one I have a very simple direction of what's gonna go on that page for the choice board. And I wanna keep track of any resources that I plan on sharing with students. These resources are typically video tutorials or websites that are gonna help them actually be able to do this activity. If you're worried that your students might feel overwhelmed with all these different choices and not know exactly what each one of them is, one of the things you can do is do a video project with everybody, do a sketchnote project with everybody, do each one of these projects with everybody, and then once the whole class has done it, you can present this choice board and give them the options. What I think I would do is I would present this choice board from the get-go, have them pick one that they want to do, and then the next time I give them this show what you know choice board, they have to pick a different one than they did the first time. So once you have all of your resources and directions and you've planned out what's going to go on your choice board, it's time to jump back into Genially and start building. So when you log into Genially, you'll see any previous Genially projects that you have created down here. But if you're brand new, it's going to be empty and you want to go up to Create Genially. Since you probably said you were a teacher when you signed up for your account, you're going to see some Genially presentations up here that are specific for classroom use, whether you want to use a Genially to teach a class something or you want to gamify something in your class. There's options to give students practice or to even plan out your classes. And you've got these different options down here to further explore what's available, but I am going to just search for one. There's one I know that has choice in the name, and it is this one down here, this choice board. I'm gonna click on the plus sign, and if I wanna see the different pages of this choice board before I actually use it, I can go to next page and click through just like that. So since this is what I want to use, I'm gonna click on use this template. Now my choice board, I only want 5 choices and this one has 9, and so I'm gonna have to delete some of these. Delete them quickly if you just kind of hold your mouse out to the right and click and drag a rectangle over some of the elements and then hit backspace, it will delete them. So I'm gonna delete those 2, I'm gonna delete this one, and I'm gonna delete this one. And so obviously that doesn't look that great. So let me move some things around so it looks a little bit better. Let me click and drag this one up to the middle. You can see these lines that show up so you can tell if it is centered or not. That looks good. So let's change the title of this choice board and I can just triple click and just call this Show What You Know Choice Board. Of course, you can highlight and change the fonts and sizes and all sorts of things like that with these options up here, but I think I'm gonna keep all these fonts the same. If at any point you wanna see what this is gonna look like to your students, you can click on this little eyeball up here to preview your Genially. And the way that this Genially works is if someone picks one of these actual choices and clicks on the plus sign, it'll take them to a page that has information about that, and then they can go back using this back button if they wanna go back to the page that they were just on and then explore another page by clicking on that plus sign. So we're gonna go ahead and adjust these to fit the choices that we want to give the students. So if you click outside of the preview section, it'll take you back to the editing page. And let's go back to our planning document. Our first one is video, we've got sketchnote, we've got graphics. So let's go ahead and change these titles and say, let me highlight this whole thing and I'm just gonna type in video, maybe drag it, hold the mouse right there on the edge and drag it down a little bit. I don't need a subtitle, so I'm just gonna click on that and hit delete and then center this. So I've changed the title of all of these, but I would like some of these graphics in the background to match what it actually is about. So instead of like a fence background, that doesn't really make sense for video. So the easiest way to replace this is hold the mouse over the background and click on it. And then you're gonna see a few options appear above it. I'm gonna click on replace. I want to use actual images, and so Pixabay are free images that I can use in my Genially. So I'm going to click on there, and then I'm just going to type in video and see what images come up. I like this classic video thing. Obviously, none of my students are probably going to be using something like that, but it's very clearly video. I'm going to click replace, and now that image is behind where it says video. If I want to kind of move the image within that little window, maybe I want to kind of move the camera down. If I double click on it, you can see I've got these options here to move it within this little window that it is already showing. And I can center it like that and then hit enter. So I'm going to change these background images real quick to match the choice a little bit more appropriately. So now we need to adjust where exactly it's going to go when a student clicks on this little plus sign to go to see the video instructions or the sketch note instructions or the graphic instructions. So if I click right there, I can see, oh, that's gonna go to page 2, and page 2, it's this first number right here, it's gonna go to this page. And so that's gonna be fine. I'm gonna make some adjustments here in a second. But you'll notice here on the left, I still have some pages based on some of those elements that I deleted on the very first page early on. So I'm gonna delete the ones that I remember getting rid of. There was that purple one that I deleted, so I'm just gonna hit delete there. There was a blue one that I deleted, this green one that I deleted, and the rest of them I kept, but I don't need this last page. Let me delete that. So now I should have these 5 different elements in the beginning with the corresponding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages down here. I just need to make sure that this one is indeed going to page 2. If it wasn't, I could just let's say that didn't say anything. Let me delete that little element there. If I needed to say when I click on this button, go to page number 2, you need to click on it and then add interactivity. And so I want to go to a page. That's what I want to happen when a student clicks on that plus sign. And then I could say, well, which page do you want to go to? I want to go to this corresponding page. So let me click on save. And so this sketch note, it's going to page 4, which is down here. This graphic is going to page 3. I could switch those around, and you'll notice that if I switch it around, it still links to that same one, which is kind of nice. So I think it makes more sense to have the sketch note one be page 3 since it's next, and then the graphic one be page 4. This blog post one is indeed page 5, and this last one is page 6. So let's do the instruction for the video page, which is page 2. First thing I'm gonna do is I want my background to match the background that I selected on this first page. So just in the same way, if I go and I click on this background image back here and click on replace, I can just search for that image again and then replace it just to have some consistency between these pages and what they're doing. I'm gonna change my title to make a video, and I actually wanna replace this image with something a little bit more mathematical. So now I am ready to put my directions and my resources here on this page. So if I go back to my choice board plans, the first thing they need to know, what are they gonna be making a video of, is they need to show what they know, area versus volume, how are they similar, how are they different, examples to demonstrate your understanding. So I'm just gonna copy this. I'm gonna go over to Genially, and I'm gonna put the text on this side right here. The way that I can do that is I can go over to text on the left. We can make this a subtitle right here, and then I'm just gonna do Command V to paste it. And so it doesn't look great right now, but if I hold the edge right here, let me drag it over to the side. I'm going to make this heading right here bold. And then I am going to do the area versus volume. Let me capitalize that. Area versus volume. I'm gonna also make that bold, italics, and underlined. Can I underline it? Is it gonna let me? There we go. And I want these to be bullet points right here. So I'm gonna highlight them, and I'm gonna click on the bullet points, and it says, do you want numbered or just bulleted? I'm just gonna do bullets right there. I do think this text is a little bit big, so if I just highlight all of it, I can change the size of it right here by clicking on font size. Let's try 24. I like that better, and I'm going to center this right here. Now, I can't really read that very well right now because it's this black text and it's not a super dark or super bright background. So I'm gonna add a rectangle that'll be behind the text so that this text is a little bit more readable. I can go over to resources here on the left, and I've got a shape right here, and I can just click and drag this shape. Now, right now it's in front of the text. That's okay. I can drag it, and then I can come up here. These are these layers that I have, and I want this to go, I'm gonna click on the layers. I want this to go back one layer. And so you can see now it's behind the text. And I need to just stretch it out over here and pull this up right here. And I'm actually gonna change my text color to white. So I'm gonna highlight it, click on color up here for text, and then click on white. And then I want to also change my rectangle to black, so there's even more contrast there. So I need to click on the rectangle just outside the text box right there. So now the rectangle is selected, and I can change the color using this color button up here. And I'm not gonna go all the way black, I'll just do really, really close to it though. So now that is very clear and easy to see right at the beginning. So now go back to my planning document. I've got some directions. Create a 2-minute video in Microsoft Flip. I'm going to copy this, Command C, go over to my editor. I'm gonna delete this text that's already here, and then I'm just gonna paste my new text like that. And now the last step is I need to add these resources that I have over here. So I've got a Microsoft Flip video tutorial from YouTube, and so let me go ahead and copy this, Command C, and I want it to be a button that they can click that's very clearly like, okay, this is gonna show me the YouTube video. So I'm gonna click on interactive elements, and I like buttons with text, and so I can do show more so I can see all the different options, and I think it makes sense to have a watch button, and so I'm gonna click and drag that over here. And I want them to know this is a Microsoft Flip tutorial, so if I double click on the text, I can just type in Flip tutorial, but that does not look that great. And if I try to stretch it out, it just makes the button really big. So the reason it's doing that is because this is actually a text box with a rectangle and a little eye icon, and it's grouped together into one object. If I ungroup them, I can then adjust them individually. So if I click on this text box, I can now stretch out that text box, and it's still too long. And so I just need to click on this background rectangle and stretch this out right here. And now I can see, oh, this is a Flip tutorial. If I want to regroup it all together, I can just click on one of the elements, hold Shift, click on another element, and then click on another element. So I clicked on the text, the eye, and the background, and then I am going to regroup those now. So I don't want to send students to YouTube to watch this video. The nice thing about Genially is I can have the video show up right within Genially. To do that, I'm gonna add interactivity, but this time I am going to make a little window that pops up that shows the video. So I'm gonna click on window, and they're like, well, what do you want your window to show? Well, first off, I do want a large window. I don't want a medium or a small window. I think the larger the window, the bigger the video, the easier it is for the students to watch it. And then there is a video icon right here where I can click on insert video, and I'm going to paste the video link that I had earlier, and I'm going to click on insert. So now that is in there. I'm going to click on save, and let's test to see what this looks like. Let's go to preview up here, and if I click on the Flip tutorial, you now see this window, and a student can make this full screen by just clicking on the full screen icon if they would like. Then when they're done, they can just hit this little X. So let's get out of this preview now that we know that it works. I would like this button to be red, so I'm just gonna click on that button, and even though it's grouped, it's still letting me change the background color. So I'm gonna click on this red, so it really pops out that this is the tutorial that they need to watch in order to do this assignment. But I also think it makes sense to leave a link to Microsoft Flip, the website, so that way they don't have to go Google it. So I'm gonna add another button right here, and it's going to be a link, and I'm gonna do the same process. Let me just call this Microsoft Flip, but this time, instead of opening up a window on the interactivity, I am going to now go to a link. This will actually send them to Microsoft Flip. So click link and they say, well, where do you want them to send them? The website to Microsoft Flip is flip.com. And I always click on open in a new tab. And let me show you why. If I click save, if I go up to preview and I click on Microsoft Flip, right now, notice at the top of the screen, I've got Genially in this tab. If I open up Microsoft Flip in a new tab, I can still go back to Genially easily. If I didn't do that, it would basically just replace this tab with Microsoft Flip and I wouldn't be able to come back to the Genially as easily. So let's close out of this. Also, if you would like to just remix this template that I am currently building right now, we've got a link down in the description where we will send you this exact choice board for you to adapt and modify for your classroom, along with a ton of other choice boards that we've created that you can use as you see fit. So check the link in the description to get this choice board emailed to you. And so now we're done with the video page, and that may seem like a lot to do. You're like, man, I had to do all this stuff. But now that you've done it for one page, you can pretty much just copy and paste a lot of these pieces and then just change the text or the link. So to be able to see those other pages, I need to go back over here and click on pages. And my next one is supposed to be the sketchnoting one. So I'm gonna go down to sketchnote right here. I'm gonna change the title. And in this case, I'm gonna delete this image right here. I'm gonna delete this text right here. Don't forget to replace your background image again. And this image right here, I think we can keep for sketchnoting. But now I can just go back over to the make a video page. I'm going to select my text box and hold shift and select my background rectangle. I'm gonna group these because these are gonna stay together anyways. And I'm going to copy it by using Command C, come back to this page and paste it. And this one I'm actually gonna have on the right side. So that part's done. Those instructions are the same whether they're doing a sketch note or whether they're doing a video. I'm also gonna copy these directions and these links and just change the text. So let me hold shift, click here while I'm still holding shift, Command C to copy it, jump over to this page, Command V to paste it, and drag it over here. So now all I need to do, they're not gonna do a 2-minute video in Microsoft Flip. What's the instructions here? They are going to create a digital or a paper sketch note. So I'm going to copy that direction, paste it, and now that's replaced. On these resources, it is a website on sketchnoting. So in this case, it's not gonna be a window. I will actually send them to the website because it actually has a couple videos that I think would be useful and helpful to the student. So let me copy that. Let me change the text and changing the interactivity. So when they click on it, again, it doesn't go to a window. I can actually change it by going over here to link and then pasting the new link right there and saving it. And then this one, they may do it on paper, but they could also do a digital one using a website called AutoDraw. And this is where students can actually draw something like a book, and then it gives you suggestions on what they think you're trying to draw, which is really helpful. And so they could do it in here to get a little bit of that support if they don't have a lot of practice with drawing. So I'm just gonna copy the AutoDraw link and then change it from Microsoft Flip to AutoDraw and change the link to the AutoDraw link by pasting it in there and clicking save. So this page took way less time to do than all the others. So I've now just gone in and actually made all of the changes, copied and pasted, really similar to what I just did on the last one. But there are 2 problems that I ran into that I want to tell you about. The first was on this write a blog post page. If I go back to my choice board plans, I see that I actually had a YouTube playlist that I wanted to share with students. These were a bunch of short videos that were individual steps about setting up a blog using Google Sites. I didn't want to have to link to all of these videos, but I also didn't want to have to send students to YouTube to watch this. But let's see if we can figure out a solution here. If I click on the very first video of the playlist and then pause it, this URL is not just to this video, but it is actually to this video within this playlist right here. So let's see what happens if I copy this link that kind of has that playlist information in there. And then I go over to Genially and go to my Google Sites tutorial, add some interactivity to this button. And I'm still gonna do a window. And I'm gonna go over to the insert video and paste that YouTube video from that playlist and click insert It looks like it's just a regular video, but if you notice on the top right here where it says 1 out of 7, the students can just click right there and then see the rest of the tutorials in there. Now, your students may not know that that is there. So above the video, I would include some information that says that this is a playlist and that you can click on that little icon to see the rest of the videos so you can set up your blog on Google Sites. The other issue that I ran into is that I made one of the tutorials myself using the app Loom. And so the video is not on YouTube, it is on Loom. And so you can see that URL right here for my book creator tutorial. But if I copy this URL and I go to my book creator tutorial and add the interactivity into a window using the same method I did with the YouTube video, it does not work. But there is a way that you can get a Loom video inside of this window. Open up that Loom video in a separate tab, and then when you go up to share right here, you have the option to embed the video. So click on embed and then click on copy embed code right here. Now, when I go over to Genially, instead of clicking on this little insert video, I'm gonna go over to where it says code view, and I'm going to paste it. And don't worry if you don't understand what all this stuff means, it's just the information needed to put the Loom video inside of this window. And then I can turn off the code view, and then you're gonna see that my video is right there. Let me click on save. Let me click on preview so I can check to make sure it works appropriately. And then click on book creator tutorial, and there is my Loom video, just like I had my YouTube videos embedded in that window. One more thing you can do to make this next level. I want to actually have a Padlet where students share their final products, and then we can see everybody's final product on one Padlet. But I don't want them to have to go to another tab or another page to access that Padlet. Is there a way that I can get that Padlet directly into this Genially? Let's see. So here is my Padlet. It's in a new tab right here. I need to create a space first in Genially where I'm gonna put this Padlet. So I'm going to add a new page, and it is going to be a blank page right here. I'll click on add. Let me drag it all the way down to the bottom. Maybe I'll put a title that says share your work. And to pull that Padlet in, I'm gonna go over to the Padlet. I'm going to go to share. And again, just like the Loom video, I did an embed. I'm going to embed in your blog or website and copy this embed code. Now, this one I don't want to be a window like I did with the Loom video. I want it to actually just be on this page. So the way that you can do that is you go over to insert on the left here. And then if you go over on the top tab where it says others, you will be able to paste that embed code right there. So I'm going to paste it and click on insert, and now you've got your Padlet. Doesn't look great right now, but I can click and drag it over here and then stretch out the ends to the edge of the page. And a student will actually be able to add to their Padlet right within the Genially my flip video, and then they can put a link to their flip video right there, and then click publish. And so now you are ready to share this with your students. If you are ready to publish, you're gonna click on all set. You're gonna make sure it's online. If it's something that you want students to be able to remix and reuse, you can enable that option right there, and then click on all set. Now it is a public choice board for your students to be able to see. And if I click on share, if you're a Google Classroom user, you can jump on over to others over here and then share this right within your Google Classroom. You just pick which class you want it to be included with. You can say if you want it to be an assignment, and then it will open up that assignment with the choice board already linked for you there. And also straight from the Google Classroom interface, maybe you want to create an assignment. You may notice that you've got this new section of add-ons, and Genially is one of those add-ons. When you click on it and sign in, you can see your choice board that you made right there and then add it to the assignment. If I jump over to the student view right here, you can see when the student actually clicks on this Genially choice board, I am still within Google Classroom. They are still keeping everything in one place, and so they don't have to jump back and forth between different tabs and things like that. And then they can go right back to the assignment by hitting this top left arrow, and it's all contained right within Google Classroom. And so if you're just wanting to dive even deeper into Genially and you're loving what you are seeing, check out this tutorial that we did where Sam explores other aspects of Genially that I didn't even begin to talk about in this video. So we will see you over in the Genially tutorial.